All right. Welcome to Framework Fortune. If you're new to the channel, I'm your host Ben, and this is the second episode of Traders Saloon. And we're going to talk about a couple things today, put together a few watch lists. The first thing I want to talk about is these articles going around, and this is from ABC News. Bill to decriminalize marijuana at federal level up for House vote next month. So let's find out and read this article what this is about. This could be pretty good for pot stocks. There could be some hype and volume that could come in with this bill passing the House, but of course it still has to go through the Senate and the whole process, but there is possibilities that it could make it that far. Let's see what it's about though. So they're supposed to vote this month, actually. This article's 3 days old. The Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act of 2019, also called the MORE Act, would officially remove cannabis from the list of federally controlled substances, would also expunge federal marijuana convictions and arrests, and approve for allocation of resources for communities affected by war on drugs, according to the bill's text. And you can see a statement here. A floor vote on the bill would be the greatest federal cannabis reform accomplishment in over 80 years from the Global Alliance for Cannabis Commerce. See, the House Judiciary Committee originally passed the vote in November. So the big thing is that it will no longer, right here, the MORE Act would remove marijuana as Schedule I substance, and it's in the same category as heroin, LSD, ecstasy, and peyote, which makes a whole lot of sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So this should have been done already, but from an investor standpoint, this could drive some hype into pot stocks here in the next upcoming months. But this leaves it all up to the states. So it's not like if they pass this bill and it goes through, it's not like every state will be legal. It'll still be up to the states to decide. But the states that are currently legal are bringing in millions in tax revenues and new jobs and businesses. With the current marijuana stuff, the only problem is because it's illegal at the federal level, these businesses have no access to banks for funding or anything like that. They have to get real creative when they need to raise money, which is why one of my favorite longer-term investments right now in the cannabis world is IIPR. And we'll pull that up real quick to take a look at it. If you've been in the chat before, you've probably heard me talk about it, but you can see it's all the way up at 126 right now, been climbing. And the reason why I like this is because their business model has been to go to these companies that struggle with raising funds, especially during COVID when they've had a lot of trouble. But they go to these companies and they say, hey, we'll buy your land, we'll buy your building that's on the land, so that way you have some money and we'll just rent it right back out to you. So this is a REIT. But that is their primary focus, is helping these cannabis companies, if you want to call it help. But I think it's a great business model. Obviously, a lot of other people do too. And they are making tons and tons of cash with this business model so far. You can see the dividends have been increasing as well as the price. So IIPR is definitely a pretty good stock, more expensive stock. But if you're in the cannabis world, it's one to take a look at. Now, usually around this time, and we can go back and look at several different stocks, usually around this time of year, all the cannabis stocks start to get a little bit of attention. That's when they usually start their runs, or somewhat of a run. So with this bill as well around this time, it is very possible that we could start seeing these stocks heat back up. But if you look, this is Aurora, Afra, Canopy Growth. We'll look at Canopy Growth 2 in a second, but all the chart patterns are pretty similar, and they all kind of run together. And of course, those are all Canadian companies, so they may not get the hype, but I'm just using them as an example because they are the most traded pot companies. But you can see right here, when this spike started happening right there in September, all the way to the end of the year. What we got right here, September, the rip starts, big rip all the way through the year. They sell off. What we got here, right at the end of August, into September, big spike. Right here, this one was actually later in the year. This one was January. And then that's when the big sell-off finally happened. And there's not really been much. There was a little bit of hype back in May, but not been too much since then. But there was like 3 years in a row, 3 or 4 years, where it was the same thing every fall. Let's see, what's canopy growth? See, but in the fall, we see these marijuana companies starting to get, that's the wrong one, starting to get hype on them in volume. So here's canopy growth. Yeah, it is CGC. Oops. So you can see same thing as Aurora back here in the fall, starting September. Right here in the fall, starting September. This one, same thing. And then you've got that January one where it started there. But it's been a while since these cannabis stocks have went on moves. So it's probably about time for them to start moving again, especially with this legislation. If it goes through, you know, this is still speculation. I wouldn't necessarily go out and just start buying cannabis stocks all willy-nilly right now, but it is something to keep in mind, and that's why I want to kind of build a watch list of some of these American companies. Planet 13, if you've been following me, you know that's one of stock that I like quite a bit, and you see it's constantly been climbing. It's really got up high here lately. Does not look like Aurora or any of those other companies. It's got its own chart pattern, so it's not following certain stocks or a certain sector. But this is one to kind of keep an eye on. It is a dispensary. There's a lot of different things you can invest in for cannabis, like Scott's Miracle Grow is one. They've been pretty involved in the cannabis sector as well. Cron is another one, and this one went on a massive spike from when it first came out, but it's sold off quite a bit. Looks like it's trying to start finding support around this $5 area. Been in this massive downtrend, so once it gets back over 6, you know, maybe we could start seeing some hype come in. So there's not hype yet. I would say the hype will come in when it gets more closer to the bill actually being voted on. And it may actually hold off until after the bill. You know, if the bill comes out and it says, oh, it's going to be federally decriminalized, I would say there's going to be some attention on American pot companies. Cresco Labs is another dispensary. They have different dispensaries all over the country. Most recently, they opened several in Chicago and Illinois. I know they're in Illinois. I don't know how many they actually have in Chicago, but they do have dispensaries in Illinois. That was the latest state to legalize recreational, and it's been on a downtrend too. And this is a OTC stock as well. I'm not a big fan of investing or trading in OTC stocks, but a lot of these companies are newer, and they had to go public on the OTC market, so some we might see get uplisted soon. I'm expecting Planet 13, if it continues to climb or at least consolidate in this area for a while, I expect them to uplist at some point. And I don't know too many other, Nugs, which this video review will be out tomorrow for this company. This is another OTC company. Several people has suggested it. I took a look at it. There was some trouble I ran into with this company, which you'll see in that video when it comes out. But this company's just been on a nosedive, so it's not really one that I would want to touch at the moment. But then you got Aurora, Canopy Grove. Like I said, those are Canadian, but they still might catch some of the hype from this. What's Grow? I think Grow. Is that Scott's? No, I guess this is not Scott's Miracle Grow. What is their ticker symbol? So maybe Scott's? We'll just put in Scott's. Or you know what? We'll do Miracle Grow. Maybe that'll show it. It's hard to remember. Yeah, here, SMG. That's Scott's Miracle Grow. Okay, so you can see Scott's Miracle Grow really making nice moves here recently. What's up, One Life? It's going, buddy. Got a shelf done there. See, Scott's does pay a dividend. This is probably one of the safer cannabis bets. And you can see it's constantly growing. No pun intended. But right now it's pretty high. I mean, this is way up there. But who knows? They may keep. I am going to put this one on this watch list. They may keep climbing. But I wouldn't want to touch this right at the moment. I'd want to see some type of pretty good pullback. See, pretty good dividend. Yep, dividend's constantly growing, so that's something you want to see. They actually just paid a 62-cent dividend recently. But 176, that's, let's see, what is that? It's like a 3 or 4% yield, I think. It's not a great yield, but it's a decent yield. As long as the dividend yield's beating inflation, that's the only thing I really care about. So, I like the lowest I want a dividend yield is like 3%. I don't know what the exact math is off the top of my head, but this seems like 3 to 4%. And then let's see if I can find some in these scans. Let's see if we can scan for some. Oh yeah, here we go. So we'll do a new scan, and we'll do it in industry. Should be like farming or something like that is what I would expect. It's utilities. I don't think it would be. I don't think it would. I think it would be in farming. It'd have to be in farming. Energy equipment services. That's oil and gas. We'll get there. Give me, here we go. Food retail, drug retail, maybe? Maybe drug retail. Let's just go with agricultural products. And then let's just see how many there is like this, and then we can narrow it down. Okay, there's not actually that many. So let's see if any of these happen to be cannabis companies or anything like it. Global Hemp Group. Future Farms Technologies. This was a cannabis stock, but I think they went more towards hemp, and it really hurt their stock price when they kind of switched to hemp. I'll put it over here. We'll take a look at it. I haven't looked at Future Farms in probably a couple of years. Did make some decent money off Future Farms back in the day, a few years ago, but Cubic Farm Systems, Fusion Farm. Some of these are really, really. We'll take a look at the Global Hemp one too, just because it's somewhat related. So that didn't really show me quite a lot. You had some U.S. companies as well, but forgot to add them. Yeah, no. That's me too. Let's go look at. Let's see. Let's look at. See if we can find them on drug retail. I'm trying to find them this way. We can always Google and put in U.S. cannabis. Actually, let's just do that. That'll probably be quicker than me trying to scan for them. and try to search for them. So let's see. U.S. cannabis companies ticker. Top marijuana stocks. Oh, here you go. New. This is in 2022. VFF. We'll get there, guys. We will get there. I promise. This is what you got to do when you're doing research. You actually got to take time and out of your day to actually do some research. Was that GWPH? If my brain hole will work. GWPH. Okay, and then that other one was, where'd it go? Oh, AMRS. AMRS. Okay. These are all supposed to be on the NASDAQ, so that's what I'd rather look at than, especially for day trades. I would rather look at stocks on the NASDAQ. It's not really fun trying to trade. See, there's Cron. We got that one. Cara. So that's whatever. CARA. Okay. So that's a few of them. Let's see, was that Investopedia? I don't know if yeah, that was Investopedia. Here's the marijuana index fund. Let's see, what's the ticker symbol on this index fund? Is it MMJ? Let's see if that's what it is. No. What is the ticker? Why don't you tell me the ticker? The House is voting on this this month. They didn't say an exact date, but they're going to be voting on it this month at some point. That's why I'm kind of thinking that there may be some hype that will come into the marijuana stocks. You know, and there could be good day trades to be made off of some of these stocks. That's why I'm wanting to look. I'm wanting to find the lowest float ones. And you can see right there. Let's see. No, that's not the vote. Oh, there's a bunch of different press releases. We got a lot of ticker symbols here, so we can go through all these ticker symbols. I was just trying to find... Maybe it's MIUS. This... No. What is the ticker symbol? United States Marijuana Index. United States Marijuana Index ticker. Because that could be like a safe little trade. MGIC or MJIC. No. That's not it. I'm trying to think. MJ said is a Canadian pot, but I'm looking for the US pot one. That's the one I'm interested in, because the Canadian stocks probably won't get that big of a jump for. Oh gosh, we're getting crazy here. All right, well, if you guys can figure that out for me, because I'm struggling. I'm going to start putting in these other symbols here. Let's see, let's make this smaller so that way I don't have to, well, I probably still will have to switch back and forth. Yeah, I will. I'm going to put this on the other side of my screen, that way I can look at it. So, And then we'll go through all these and check these out. See what they're about. So I got that one. GTBIF. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. IIPR, we already know about that guy. It's my favorite. Cresco, we got Cresco. WF. See, all of these are in Planet 13. We know Planet 13. We got that on there. HRVSF. Harvest Health, I think, is an Arizona company. FFNTF. When I went to Arizona, I got a brochure on a company that was down there, but CWBA is... I already got that one. Did I get that one? CWBHF. And there is a lot of them here, but the ones that are like crazy looking and CRGF, that are OTC, we probably really won't go through because I'm not going to day trade an OTC stock. LHSIF. YCBD. TTLTF. Oops, that wasn't it. Get out of here. And then VREOF. Alright, so that's enough to go through for now. So let's start checking these out. I'm good, Manuel. I'm not trading right now. MO has a percentage of cron, so I'll add that right there. Right now, I'm building a U.S. cannabis watch list because, like I said earlier in the video, the House is talking about decriminalizing it at the federal level, and we could see some hype coming into these stocks. So, here's Future Farm, OTC stock. See back here where it did get some pretty massive moves. And then, actually, no, this is when, yeah, 2000, right before 2018 or into 2018. You can see I still have lines back there where I was tracking it, and I made pretty decent money off of this move. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but since then, you can see this company has just went off the rails, so still looking pretty bad. So I'm just going to take it off. This one, ooh, this chart is something nasty. I do not like it. It's only a penny. This is the global hemp one, and there's no reason to look at that. Here we go. Here's a NASDAQ stock. This is the Village Farm International. Let's see, they've got recent stuff going on. Yeah, a joint venture with Pure Sun Farms begins shipping Cannabis 2.0 products and bottled oils. This was all the way up at 18. Let's see where we're at with this downtrend. So, still in this downtrend. And it is starting to slowly build back up. Let's look at the year chart here. Let me fix this right here so I can get some information without having to look too deep into the companies. Remove. And then shares. See, what else can I get out of this? And we'll add book value too, so we can see what the book value supposedly is. I wonder if I can put RSI in this. Oh, I can. Look at here. Boom. So some have book values, some do not. VFA does not. 53 on the RSI. So that's, you know, that's like, it's kind of in the mid-range. So it still could get some moves. Float's pretty low. You got 56 million shares, so the float's probably around 40 or something. So this is an interesting one we can keep on the watch list. I could see it getting some action. GW Pharmaceuticals. Let's see. Let's look at the... It's been going down lately, but overall it's on an uptrend. Last 101, book value 17. Pretty low on the RSI at 33. It's not one I would day trade. I'd probably look at that more. We'll leave it on there for now. AMRS. 200 million. Has a negative $2 value for book value. 48 on the RSI. Still in a downtrend though. Let's see, what have they done recently? Successfully scaled up commercial production of whatever this cannabigerol is. We can find out. They expect to produce 1 ton of high purity CBG through fermentation. Also anticipates first commercial revenue from sale of this molecule this year as an ingredient in applications that are excluded from the company's current collaboration deals. So that's kind of interesting. We'll keep it on the watch list there. CARA, very low float, book value 4. It's currently around 15. And this is just sideways. It's not really a direct trend overall, but it is on a downtrend at the current moment. Let's see, they got some earnings here, so let's see what their earnings are talking about. Top line results, pivotal phase 3 trial of Korsuva injection. So this is more, let's see, what is this company? It says it was a cannabis company. Well, let's look at these numbers first. We'll go down there in a minute. They got expectation, let's see, presentations coming up. They had a net loss of 25 million. Compared to a net loss of 23 million. Total revenue was 5.6 for the 3 months compared to 5.2 in 2019. So their revenue has slowly increased. Got research and development expenses. Other income net was 634,000. Expenses were 5.4 million for the 3 months, so they made 5.6 and they spent 5.4. So yeah, it's kind of not the best numbers. Oh yeah, I didn't look and see what this was. I was trying to see if usually at the bottom they'll say what the company's about. Let's see. Clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing new chemical entities. So I'm not sure if that's actually a cannabis company or not. It's some kind of biofarm company. It could be. They could be using THC, but I have to dive more into that one to figure that out. We'll leave it on there for now. And this is the Canadian ETF. See, back in July, global cannabis spending grew 46% to $15 billion. Could pass $20 billion in 2020. And you can see this is actually pretty undervalued right now for this ETF. I wonder what this stocks are in this ETF, but it's pretty low. It's on a downtrend. That's pretty interesting. I'm just using the RSI, Daniel B, for the see. You know, it kind of shows if it's undersold or underbought or whatever. It's just a quick way for me to look. You know, I'm not going to go put money into any of these companies that I put on the side here, except for the ones I've already done full research on. These ones I'm looking at now, I'm just now starting the research process. But one of the things I wanted to do was make this list for the cannabis stocks in case we start getting some action. Let's see. Pure Cannabis ETF. MSOS. So here we go. We got a couple of MOS. And then the other one is YOLO, it looks like. So it's 2 U.S. cannabis ETFs. And we'll take a look at those. That's interesting. All right. So where were we at? We're at Cureleaf. Cureleaf on a bit of a downtrend. But bouncing around. This has a little bit higher of a float. Did have a decent amount of volume today. So that's probably one to keep a little bit of an eye on. GTBIF, this is an OTC stock. Like I said, I'm not even going to deal with any OTC stocks. I mean, Planet 13 is an OTC stock, but other than that, I'm not really too interested in any of these. Because OTC stocks aren't going to get normal trader volume. YBC, let's see, okay, YCBD. Oh, we must have day traded this recently. I didn't know this was a cannabis company. It's pretty low float as well. Book value's $2. And it's currently at $2.52, so it's not too far off from the book value. Yeah, so this recently had a pullback. Let's look at the yearly chart. So it went on a little rip out of this consolidation. And now it's having a pullback, but looks like it's bouncing right here. So this may be one to watch over the next couple of days if it continues to bounce. But it does have the 100-day and the 200-day both right there, and it bounced twice off of that area. And then whatever this support is that I have marked out. Yeah. So that would be one to keep an eye on. That's OTC stock. OTC. This is Altria, whatever it is. It sounds like tobacco, though. We'll see, though. What do they got here? Do have a dividend. Well, how much are they paying this dividend? 84 cents. That's a pretty decent dividend. let's look at the max chart. So they've been paying dividends for a while. It looks like this is a quarterly dividend. Quarterly dividend of about 84 cents. So that would be 320. That's about an 8% dividend, although the stock currently is on a downtrend. But that dividend yield is pretty good. I mean, it's just stair-step down. And that's interesting. I'm going to look more into this company. The dividend is really nice at the price it's at right now. And then, oh boy. So this is the ETF that came out today. And it didn't do too much. We just have a big fat red candle. Which it didn't move too crazily. Let's see, where did it come out at? It came out at 24.93. Did have a quick spike to 25.35. And dropped down to 24.53. And it ended up closing at 24.66. So there's not going to be a ton of information. Let's see who's in their portfolio. Cureleaf, Green Thumb, Trueleaf, IIPR is in this ETF, so that's interesting. Terrascend, Grow Generation Corp, AYR Strategies, Cresco Labs, Columbia Care, Harvest Health, Charlotte's Web, CMBD, Corbis, Planet 13. So that's two cannabis stocks that I like that are in this ETF. ARNA. Don't know what Power REIT is, but I'd like to check that out. ZYNE, which I think I've day traded that before. Green Lane. Perkinelmer. Acreage. Does have an OTC stock, but Silver Spike Acquisition. Jushi Holdings. That's another OTC stock. Newage. Akerna Cash. I don't think it has a stock. I think they're just, I don't know. I don't know what the cash is about, but. So this is an interesting ETF. I definitely want to keep an eye on this to see how cheap this gets, if it gets any cheaper. And then here's the other ETF. This is YOLO, and you can see it took a dip back in March because of the coronavirus, and it's been slowly climbing back. Let's look at the overall. Came out at 26, dropped all the way down to 5, and now it's climbed back up to 12, so that's not bad. So this is a pretty good list of American companies and 3 ETFs for cannabis. And I think this is what I'll stick with. I like this list. So yeah, talking about EV right now. EV is definitely hot. So, but that's all I wanted to do on the U.S. pot stocks. And now let's look for some low floats. Or if anybody has any questions, because we did spend quite a bit of time on the cannabis stocks, a little bit more than I was expecting. But anybody has any questions that they need to ask about day trading, something like that, where you may be struggling somewhere, go ahead and get those questions in. But now, while you guys are coming up with any questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to use FinViz to do this with. Well, actually, no, I don't need to use FinViz. So let's go to the scanner, and we'll go to all symbols. Well, actually, I don't want to do all because I don't want any OTC stocks. So we'll do all NASDAQ. And we're just going to look for the lowest float possible stocks and take a look at some of their chart patterns. So actually, let's change this to last. And we'll go 50 cents to $20. And then we'll add another filter. This one for shares. And I don't want to see any that are over 40 million. Is that 40 million? No, it's not 40 million. Let's see, so it's 4 million, so 40 million. All right, let's see what we get with that. So I actually got a lot. I've got this listed by volume right now. I'm going to list this by the lowest floats. Actually, I'm going to shrink this a little bit more. I'm going to make it $10. So we got a lot that we can take a look at. I don't want to look at this many. So actually, I am going to do what I was going to originally do. I'm going to pull up FinViz. Planet 13 is an OTC stock. It's one of the very few OTC stocks that I would actually be all right with putting money in. Because I've personally visited Planet 13 and I really like what they're trying to do. So yeah, I'm going to pull up FinViz because this will be a lot easier for me to do it this way, to look for these chart patterns. Well, unless, let me check one thing. Is there a way I can put like a little chart? No. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. I know. Thinkorswim. So we use FinViz. If you don't know what FinViz is, it's just a free screener. When I'm looking for certain stocks, I'll pop on FinViz because you can see we want floats under 10 million. And there's a lot of them. And then we can pop up the charts and look at them here. So I'm just looking for extremely low floats. On the NASDAQ. There we go. Well, of course I did, DB. I was in Las Vegas. I have a shirt. You know I bought something from there. I've wore the shirt multiple times. So, let's take a look at some of these. There's going to be a lot of them, but I'm looking for certain chart patterns that look like they may be getting close to a breakout. Let's see. That's the daily. It's the daily we got it on, but it's only showing. No, this is fine. This is for a year, so get out of here with these ads. Whoops. Okay. These are low float stocks, so I'm looking for low floats with interesting chart patterns that may be leading to breakouts. And the reason why, what was it, TSRI? Yeah, TSRI was one I actually looked at last night. And it was kind of in this triangle on the daily. Let's see, remove that. And you can see it popped out of that triangle in pre-market and actually moved $3. But that was in pre-market. So that move's already kind of been missed. So that's the kind of things I'm looking for where there's not a lot of indicator resistance ahead or not a lot of resistance ahead, and some type of chart pattern. And I'm just going to make a watch list of those, because usually this time of year these stocks will get hot. All right, give me just a second, guys. All right. So, see, this one was in a triangle, and it actually broke to the bottom side of this triangle. Same thing with this one, which a lot of times these triangles on these low float penny stocks will sometimes fail, but there's certain chart patterns. Like I said, I'm looking for stocks with chart patterns that are interesting. I don't really like any of these. EVSI, Plug, Xzrs, those are ones that you've been looking at. So let's take, well, Plug, is Plug pretty low float? I didn't realize Plug was that low of a float. And let me remove this stuff and get an actual volume, shares, add, bam. No, Plug's not a low float. EVSI, that's pretty low float. I like that. So One Life's already ahead of the game here. He's already got some ready for us. Xzrs, PSTV, BVXV. I think I saw that one today. UPWK, and then PENN. So a couple of those have higher floats than I would like. That one's a higher price stock too. I'm not going to look at that one. And that one's too high of a float for what I'm specifically looking for. So PSTV, 200 days, the only indicator above it, and it's all the way up at 401. Hasn't went on a big spike in a while. Did get 1 million in volume today. I believe you that those lower floats are higher or more reliable, but I'm looking for, there's specific things I'm looking for this specific watch list. It's even named the low float chart pattern watch list. PSTV is interesting. So if this could start breaking 3, it's got a downtrend. Wow, it did gap up there in pre-market from 244 to 420 the other day. So that's definitely one I want to keep on there. Xzrs. I like Xzrs. This one you've been talking about, I know. But if it breaks the 200-day moving average and $5, it definitely could start moving. Let's see. It's got room with the 550. So there's about a 50-cent move in there. Probably worst case scenario. Maybe a possible 50-cent move if it gets some hype. EVSI. EVSI is building up here. Looks like it's trying to build up for possible break over $15. So that one's interesting. All the indicators are below it. So I like that. There's definitely some good potential there. And BVXV. Pretty good uptrend. Above all indicators as well. It's on a downtrend. It's on a downtrend at the moment as far as the highs, but overall it's on an uptrend. So yeah, that's a very interesting one as well. I know the volume's not in the low floats right now. I'm very aware of that. But I want to get this watch list ready. This is what I've been saying in the live streams and stuff. This time of year, the low float stocks usually start getting some attention. The closer we get to the end of the year, they usually start getting some attention, like October, November, December. Usually those 3 months, the penny stock world is pretty hot. So it may not happen this year, but just in case, I'd like to be prepared for it. So let's take a look at some of these other ones. But those are some good ones. I like the ones you pointed out there. Let's see, a lot. Let's check this one out. It's got a lot of indicator resistance ahead of it. I don't want these indicator resistances. AMRH just broke a downtrend, but get out of here. AMRK has been on a pretty good. A lot was paying a dividend too. That's interesting. AMRK, so this one's above all indicators as well. AMARK Precious Metals. So this is some type of precious metal company. It could be interesting just to look at anyway. But it's been on this constant uptrend. So that definitely could be an interesting one. Very low float. Very low float. See. ANTE has spiked a lot. Let's look at this one. It never holds its gains when it spikes. See, I use this for something. Look at an arrow there. It never holds its gains, but it has been spiking over the past year. Looks like, I mean, pretty recently. It looks like it's slowly building up. So this is one that could probably spike at any time. When it does get volume. You can see on these spikes that it has nice big volume bars usually. So let's throw this one on there too. Because it is above all indicators. So, but this could be a very good quick play coming up here soon. Do I think on Labor Day? Is the market open on Labor Day? I don't think the market's open. HPQ. Let's take a look at HPQ. Oh, Hewlett Packard. See, it looks like they should be paying a dividend out here soon. 17%, 17-cent dividend. What was that, quarterly? So that's 68 cents. It's like a 3% dividend. That's all right. Labor Day is closed. Okay, that's what I thought. Does HP have a lower float? No, HP's got a big float. Okay. It is an interesting chart pattern, though. You got kind of a big triangle that's forming on this. Yeah, this is not exactly what I'm looking for this list, but I do like this. I'm going to put it on my tech list. I do like what it looks like right now. So, very interesting. Nice call out there. Well, those are mid caps that you have on watch. Okay, I'm gonna throw these all on here. I go through those another time. Maybe tomorrow maybe tomorrow after we get done trading. And see DEN. RGB KM WFC AMC. Yeah, AMC is interesting. The movie stocks, man, I just don't know. I just don't know about the movie stocks. They're going to have to figure out something. I think they will, but they're going to have to figure out something to do something with, because they're not going to be able to keep doing movies the old-fashioned way. At least I don't think. So ANTE was the last one I looked at. ANY. ANY is on an uptrend. Let's look at it on here. Yeah, this is on an uptrend. You can see dropped below that 200 and bounced off. And ANTE or ANY can run when it does get good amounts of volume. Coming up to this top 50-day moving average resistance and $3. So if this breaks $3, it could get some action. So I'm going to put it on the watch list. And it came real close actually in pre-market. It was up at 290 and dipped down today and slowly climbed back up to that 270 area. Yeah, I know. Double bottom at 2. Are you talking about on AMC or are you talking about on any? Oh, you must be... Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Right back here. Yeah, there was a double bottom on AMC. That would have been a clear good sign to buy it there. Yeah, I got you. I know. I mean, you could have bought it at 2 and it's up to 7 now, but the thing is, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know. It's hard to say, man. This movie theater stocks, I don't know. I don't know. I just think their time has come and gone. They were already doing bad before everything going on, so it's not like they just started doing bad. They've always been doing bad. Let's see. APVO is on an uptrend. Let's take a look at it. APVO right at this last little resistance. Let's move these lines from here. And it's in a triangle too, so definitely want to keep this on watch. APVO. Okay, I don't like that. Get out of here. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this quicker. So we'll give the stream probably 20 more minutes here. If anybody has any questions or anything. ARTW. ARTW is a spiker. It has some pretty nice moves. And looks like it's almost due for another move. Above all indicators. I like the way that looks. So we'll put ARTW on there. Oh, did I put HPQ on that tech one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay. ATHE's got a weird little chart pattern. Let's take a look at that. ATHE. We got a big old line right here. This is a weird chart pattern. This can spike, but it's also a gapper. Or unless it's done, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's not a gapper. This is probably reverse splits. Let's see when this was. That was 8-4. Actually, it's not. It's not reverse stock splits. Interesting. It's above most of the indicators. It's on a pretty nasty downtrend at the moment. I'm gonna put it on the watch list just because it's an interesting chart pattern with these gap ups that it has. Man, that's $1.42 gap up to 320. You guys are talking about AYTU again. We're to never bring that stock up. The stock is terrible. And these stocks I'm looking for now are specifically for day trades. For possibly trying to catch some stocks early. Before, they get too much volume. ATXI was a nice looking triangle. Let's take a look at that. ATXI. They just had a loss, but coming up to the top of this triangle possibly could be something there. These could possibly be swing trades too if you're interested in swing trading, but see, auto's been climbing, and I've noticed auto a lot lately. It's having a pullback now, but it is above all indicators. Put auto on here just because it does get some attention. Or lately it's been getting attention. BASI. So it's a little bit of a triangle here. Let's take a look at this. You can see it there. It's a little bit of a triangle, but it doesn't really spike too hard. 450 and it's a 70. Yeah, I don't like it doesn't spike too hard. I'm looking for ones that spike a lot harder than that. It isn't a triangle, but it's not much of a spiker. Barbecue. It's a big old fat triangle on that one. BNSO just popped out of a triangle. BPTH. I don't really like any of these. Let's see, BVXV. Do we have BVXV on here? Yeah, we do have BVXV on here already. BYFC. I don't like that. So CCL, that's a Chinese stock, but it does spike when any Chinese plays start getting attention. CCCL usually gets attention, but I don't really want to put it on this list. CGIX. That's a known spiker. $538 up to $943. Yeah, you can see this gets big spikes. Right now, there's not really a pattern on it. It's just consolidating sideways, but it is above all indicators, so I'm going to put that on here. CGIX. CHNR. Let's look at this real quick. This is another one of those Chinese plays. Had a big gap up and then some small little spikes afterwards. It's below all indicators though. It's not that far below. 126 is right there. I'm going to put it on here just because it's interesting. CLGN. CLPS. CLPS is in a triangle. Above all indicators as well. And a known past spiker. Actually a multi-day spiker. So the top of that triangle is at 439. It's actually right at some past resistance at 370 something. I'm going to put this on the watch list as well. This could spike potentially here soon. Yeah, it's been slowly building up, consolidating upwards. $2 up to $3.76. Yeah, and it's had some good spikes lately. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Coda's got a little interesting triangle on it for me. See the top's right there at 7. So the break of $7, this could get a move, but it doesn't spike. Well, it's had a few spikes. Yeah, it could spike. Put Coda on there. CPA. Don't really like many of these. I have not seen the new Rolex releases. I don't wear watches, so to me, watches became obsolete when cell phones became a thing. Like, what do you really need a watch for if you have a cell phone? It's one of those things I don't see a purpose in. Things don't have a purpose, then there's no reason to mess with them. EDRY, man, that was a huge spike on this. It was a shipper stock, it looks like. So let's just look at EDRY real quick. I want to see how big the spike was. Yeah, from 3 to 13. So this thing, when it does get attention, it can spike. I'm going to put it on here just because it does have some crazy spiking potential. Enoch. So on a slight uptrend, and it's gotten decent spikes before. Right with all the indicators. I'm going to put it on here too. That's a possibility of a spiker. And I'll go through just a few more of these. For this watch list. Let's see. I'm quickly just scanning through these to see if anything catches my eye. We got a pretty good list going on though so far. So I don't know how much how much more I want to add to it. That's a crazy looking chart. And not much there. Get out of here, Finviz. Don't you add me to death. G-Tech. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so this is another one. Got a bit of an uptrend. And it is above, well, it's almost above all indicators. It's right there. So let's add that one. All right, that's all I'm going to look at today on these. So we got a pretty good list there. All right, Daniel B, talk to you later. I'm pretty much done with this, with all of these. So these are stocks I'm going to keep on watch over the next couple of months for any type of volume or press releases that might come in. These could be possible spikers. Just trying to get get ahead of some of these. But yeah, if the low float stocks start heating up again like they normally do around this time of year, it's good to have a list of them ready so you can catch them before they really start going and possibly make some really big gains. But it's just something to do. One life left, okay. Well, if anybody has any questions or anything they want to talk about, let's go ahead and get into that. I'll give the stream a few more minutes here. And then we'll call it a night. We'll call it a night for this Traders Saloon. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning for some more live trading. And then Friday, of course. And then Monday is Labor Day, I think. I'm pretty sure. And the market's closed on Labor Day. So nothing there. I'll leave this list up if anybody wants to take a... Oh, you can't see this list on here. I have it cut off on my screen, so that's unfortunate. So I'll go ahead and I'll write this list in the chat. If anybody wants it. And then I'll put the U.S. pot stock list in there as well. Now, none of these you necessarily want to like buy right this second. These are just for watch only until they get some type of catalyst to make them move. Some type of reason for them to move. Right now, they don't really have any reasons. A few of them have triangles and stuff like that on the daily charts, but still, it's not really a reason quite yet. My thoughts on Planet 13? I like Planet 13 a lot. TXI, EVSI. Let me look at it. I'll pull it up here in just a second, take a closer look at it. But I watched Planet 13 quite a bit. That's the low float list, and then there's the U.S. pot stock list, and Planet 13 is on that list. But like I said, any of those other stocks are not stocks to go out and buy right this second. They're just for watching. They're very low float, so they're going to be tricky to play. They're going to be fast movers, so they can just drop for no reason. Most likely, most of them are garbage companies. They're definitely not for long-term investment. Those are just for potential day trades in the future. And then here's all the U.S. pot companies there. And then Planet 13. I've been to Planet 13. If you've not seen, I have two videos. Yeah, I have two videos on Planet 13 specifically in the Ben Stock Reviews playlist. So you can go check those out and get a whole deep dive on my thoughts. I have pictures in one of them from when I actually visited Planet 13. And I really like what they're doing. I talked to a few of the workers, and they were telling me their numbers were fantastic. I mean, right now you can see it's pretty high up. So it's higher up than I would like. And you can see on the max chart, this company has continued to grow. And they should be soon, I don't know how actually soon it'll be, but they should be opening up a second location in Santa Ana next to Disneyland. Yeah, so right there, that was in May, the close of the Santa Ana acquisition. Let's see. So they acquired a 45,000 square foot indoor cultivation. They're probably going to need that. Probably going to need that for the Santa Ana location, because in Las Vegas, I'm telling you, in Las Vegas, they were selling so much cannabis. I was there twice while I was in Vegas, and both times I was there, it was packed. You had to wait on a little queue to try to actually purchase your stuff. That's how busy they were. So they are definitely turning some sales. Let's take a look at. See, that's their. Let's see, that's not what I want. Second quarter financial results. So let's see. July 20th and August revenue, $15 million in 2 months. This is one location. Q2 is a challenging environment for all Nevada businesses, and they stayed open and they did pretty good, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, so those are the Q2 results. Revenues were $10.8 million. They were lower before, but COVID didn't happen the year before, so that's why it would have been a lot higher if people could have actually traveled to Las Vegas during that time. But they still were able to pull $10 million even with the pandemic, so that's pretty impressive. Net losses before taxes 3.3 compared to net income 1.1. So they did take a loss, but more of a loss than they normally did. But you got to keep in mind this is during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. Their balance sheet, they got $22 million on their balance sheet compared to $12 million before. Total assets $81 million compared to $62 million, so they're growing. Total liabilities $30 million compared to $21 million. Upsized the public offering. And they've got their Nevada dispensary license. And then we can actually see their numbers here for 2020. So, they did take a loss, but they were still able to make some money during the pandemic, which is pretty interesting. Not a ton of growth here, but if everything gets back to normal, then I think they'll be absolutely fine. They seem to have made it through the pandemic pretty strong. So, it's definitely one I like. Right now, though, like I said, it's a little too high. Looks like $3 is some pretty new strong support. The 50 days also creeping up to that. So maybe if it come back down near $3, but it does look like it's climbing up at the moment. It's a pretty steep trend line. I would like it better if it got back down to $1.85 in this area, in this consolidation area. Yeah. This $1.85, $2 area, because there's a lot of support right through there. So yeah, you can see a lot of support. The $3 area would be all right, but if it doesn't hold $3, it's probably going to drop back down to $2. So that's what I'd be interested in seeing if it doesn't break up out of this and move up to a new level, which kind of looks like that's what it's trying to do, then it'll probably come back down to 3, and then if it doesn't build support there, it'll drop down to 2. I really wish they would uplist. If they would uplist to the NASDAQ or NYSE, anything other than the OTC market, then I would really be on board with this company. But still, I mean, it's an OTC stock at the moment. I think eventually they will uplist. I don't know if I want to go back to Vegas after what happened to me last time, man. Vegas is crazy. It was like a murder house that I ended up staying in. Or I almost stayed in, but I didn't. So yeah. Yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, if you haven't watched those videos, I've been on Planet 13 for a while. Like I've been saying for a while, this was my favorite of the of any dispensary type of pot stock because of the potential that they have. Because they're not going into it as just a dispensary. They're going into it as a tourist attraction, which is not a good thing during COVID. But it seems like that's pretty much dying off now, or not dying off, but it's getting more under control than it was. Tourist attractions should start booming again. It was definitely neat to go see there. You're crazy, Daniel B. This Altaria I definitely want to check out some more on as well. And then this Cannabis US Pure ETF. This is definitely one I want to keep an eye on. So yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions or anything, give you a couple more minutes to get those in, and then we'll call it a night. And then we'll be back tomorrow.
I'll be here.
Apparently my phone decided to talk. That was pretty wild. I need to refix my stuff for tomorrow, so I'm not rushing to do that in the morning. And switch my scan back. Bam, there we go. I'm actually going to do something too, because I always look. Create watch list. I don't really care because I'm going to change this to. Oh, well, that didn't create a whole new one. That just put it. I'm going to put the NYSC gainers up here as well on my watch list. Actually, here, I'll do it on this one. Yeah, there we go. So now I got both of them. Let's see, volume. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And then this scanner there. Bam. Alright, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll call it a night. Appreciate everybody joining me for this episode of Traders Saloon. I will let you guys know when another episode will be coming out. We'll start aiming for Wednesdays for sure, but I want to do probably a second one on the weekend at some point, but I haven't figured out when I'm going to start that one yet. So we'll just aim for Wednesdays for now. But yeah, see you guys back here tomorrow. You have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. Until next time.